Welcome. I just got a gift from Red, my favorite color, red and white. We're gonna put it in the backpack and we're gonna rock and roll. I gotta say gratitude for these shoes. You know, they're secondhand, but the winter just what I needed because some of my other pair of shoes were becoming on that smelly. Auctioning them while you get the chance because we're gonna do Sunday cleaning and Monday they're gonna go out. So these are new red and we're gonna rock and roll with them. And, we're gonna go all the way to the mountain in the backpack. They're gonna be put in the backpack right here. So here we are. I'm gonna put them in case I get some food donations when I come back. So I'm just gonna place them like that. Make a little space there and off we go. Sunset March. Yours truly march on the. It is November 29, and we're gonna go for a rock and roll and auctioning these shoes that I'm wearing now in the backpack. Thank you, my neighbor from. You know, which got along with a few days and months a few years ago, and I forgot the name. I'm not gonna name he's a bit on the old school side, you know. Laughing when I say Rainbow Dragon, but he wears those rock and roll shirts, and I sang for him some good rock and roll. That song when he was up in Georgia. He made love on a night in 1977. What a beautiful black woman. What a beautiful black woman. And it was 1997. And he made some good loving. Up and down south, up in Georgia. In a bar up in the mainstream. Close to by that Atlanta. It was a song I actually composed for him, and it was a song, you know, I wrote for him. You know, it's a good song. So he always inspired me some good freestyles, rock and roll, and you know how it is with Rainbow Dragon, freestyle rock and roll. And I wrote a song for him, a love song, you know. But I imagine him in the 1977 because he's a bit on the older than me, you know. He's a bit on the old school side, you know, but. He's a good guy here in the neighborhood and just got me the shoes perfect for the winter, you know, because I'm financially stressed. Now my only stress is financial, but you know, I got lots of kisses, rock and roll, and that's it. That's all on the road we go. And I gotta say my gratitude, you know, grateful, thankful. My rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and that's it. I got those shoes and they're red and white, so I always got to get it for the drill and always accepting, you know, and he's a cool individual. And the first time I saw him, a few times, we started discussing. Of course, he inspired some good rock and roll, man. I just know that this is to get that rock and roll feeling out of him, you know, like he looks a bit like a producer, to me at least. I mean, stereotypically, you know, because what do I know with my Asperger's and HFA, you know, I know with my rock and roll a little bit, and geopolitics, and of course the sports and fitness, dancing being my favorite sport. You know, with Asperger's, being neurodivergent is a bit on the awkward side, so socially I'm a bit weird, but we'll be able to interact a little bit, and interaction, you know, this has been a little bit on the side, but, you know, it's about my neurological mental divergent condition, so that's it, that's all, but, you know, I can rock and roll 24/7, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks on the road, Gotta give me some dose, hello. Dragon vs. Storm Special Edition. We're gonna go all the way to see a little bit of those clouds, and I'm gonna be heading up to the mountain, you know, to the mountain, and doing a video, I guess, when I get to the base of the mountain. It's gonna be a long one today, just 44 minutes here and there, you know, do a little bit of quickish French and English, and switch it, because we in La Belle Province here in North America, and calling all willing loving to support the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and we don't need those tariffs, 25%, no tariffs, 25%, and we're North Americans, you know, at the end of the day, coast to coast, we gotta get each other's backs, and gotta get it for the love, and, you know, for the bakers, the butchers, the nurses, the doctors, I always gotta be thinking about them now. As of course I go on the march, I always think about everything that's transpiring across the collective North American civilizational complex across North America, you know. Because I'm a North American, Canadian, Quebecer, and geopolitics is 24/7, you know. Geopolitics 24/7, it's your truly constant thing, and gotta get it on the go. Somebody left those. Somebody's gotta left those gloves over there, and Gotta take a little bit of that blue sky, you know. Sometimes you just gotta look up to see the sky. And to see there you can fly. Ain't no trouble with a rainbow dragging with it. I've rock and roll 24/7, you know. It's freestyle rock and roll and always geopolitics. Now, of course, my mind switches geopolitics, and of course, I'm working out, training, dancing, and imagine choreography, and gotta be looking out for my fellow citizens who cross the streets, you know, sometimes. And now I'm in the public, so I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, and that's what it is with that, you know. So I gotta go transversely and maybe cross inside, I guess. This is Concordia campus here, how those Stingers doing. I'm always mindful about the Stingers, basketball, and I wish I would afford a jersey, and the jersey from the sports team, the sports jersey called Victoire, you know, Victoire is a jersey which yours truly is on the go, and that's why we gotta be doing it with that drill, you know, and myself being Rainbow Dragon, you know, 50-50, you get that 50-50 androgynous, that's it, that's all, you know. And I gotta be mindful of the firefighters, the butchers, the bakers, and I gotta send some LOV because it's Friday, you know, those who flip those burgers, hamburgers, chip, whatever the salads, whatever the work is being done in the fast food across Canada, Quebec, Canada, Montreal, here, Hawkeye, Montreal, you know, preparing those foods, delivering. I'm always a fan of those who labor in those activities, you know, who do the labor. Who, of course, do whatever they do, you know. Flipping the burgers, it's a lot of work, and I got great admiration for that. I wrote a few songs, rock and roll songs, you know, for the fast food workers, you know. It's quite something, you know, so give them a raise. It's always the Rainbow Dragon call, and calling the NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, MLB, to please reduce the ticket cost by 44.9% is the estimated cost to be at par with whatever the prices of the goods have been increasing, you know, overall, and with the tickets of the cost of the tickets for the tickets for the sports, NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, MLB. I'm calling for a little bit of that reduction, you know. As it is, of course, myself, I do want to see the Victoire, the new second year now, the PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League. And yesterday I was, my friend financed me a little burger, and it's quite tasty actually, on a special, you know, with a soda. And I interacted with somebody who had two hockey sticks interjected, and it was a surname and number 44. So I asked what was that about, and said that's the book that person is writing, you know, that's the book that somebody's writing, that specific book. So I said good luck with that, you know. And I love sports, women's sports, hockey sports, and basketball, gridiron, you know. I wish I could afford the jersey. The next one that I'm going to spend money on is going to be the Women's Hockey League jerseys, you know. I want to get a little bit of that. So yeah, I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to cut through the sides because I want to go see where we're going is towards the sunset, you know. We're going towards the sunset, and then we're going west. And then afterwards, we're going to cut it back and go, of course, to the mountains. So that's going to be a little bit of rock and roll. Always turn my hips left and right, encourage you all to work out, train, exercise, and sometimes doing a little bit of hip work, you know, left and right hip work, do a little bit of stretching. And now's my turn to pass. I always nonetheless turn my head left and right because you never know what if the brakes malfunction, you know. The citizen driver might press the accelerator instead, of course, of the brakes. So those are all things which fundamentally we got to be prudent about, you know. It's like I'm curious about where the sun's if I'm going to see a little bit of the sun, and of course the clouds. I'm going to go towards the bridge, then rocket back, then of course going to head back to the mountain basically and drive it for a long Friday. It'll be a long Friday, you know. It's a bit on the chilly side, but that's what we gotta go doing with that. And sometimes we just gotta put the driver, and I marched more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID, Said I marched more than the generals of NATO combined during COVID marched, and I love marching dancing. Marching dancing is part of my sports activity fitness, and lost between 80 and 93 pounds ever since I crossed Canada and depressed and suicidal before that event. And when I crossed Canada coast to coast, that event made me come out of being depressed and suicidal, So I have been writing a document and theoretical paper because I'm also a philosopher, and I've been advocating citizens to be mass financed for tourism across North America, to be mass financed for tourism across North America, to be mass financed tourism activity across North America, and of course in parallel to my other philosophies as a philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical analyst, and theorist, and artist, athlete, who's grateful, thankful, gratitude 24/7. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and got some coffee at least for the weekend. I'm sure I'm gonna get. Actually, I still have some coffee for a few days, even weeks. Maybe not weeks there, but coming up the end of November already, that December 1st, Sunday. Greater feast, greater feast, greater feast. I'm gonna see if I can feast on a budget. Gonna feast on the stars, sunlight. Bury me with Bubba Crowley, I'm in New Jersey. Bury me with Bubba Crowley, I'm in Hampton, New Jersey. Bury me with Bubba Crowley, I'm in Hampton, New Jersey. So, rock and roll, man. Thank you again for that. I'm not gonna name because it's not on the video as individual, but as you see, I got those shoes, second hand, but they're good, and we gotta get it on the go, and somebody's laughing there. That's good. Somebody joy, I like to see people joyous and physically active, engaging in exercising and smiling, and I love, to see hugs and people hugging, kissing, holding hands, signs of affection, and of course with consideration to others, because in the public sphere, we have added responsibilities, duties, and obligation, but myself with my neurological, mental, psychic, neurodivergent condition, neurodivergent, not mental illness, because it's not a mental illness, it's a neurological, mental divergent condition, which makes me predisposed to certain obsessive interests, and those obsessive interests preoccupy the majority of my time and daily effort and intensity. We're very intense, super focused. As you can see, many of my workout training program videos, and fitness, sports is an obsessive interest, and dancing being my favorite sport, dancing being my favorite sport, but fitness and sports and physical activity, and parallel, of course, with that, of course, it's sports, fitness, and other rock and roll, of course, and geopolitics. And of course, still today is going to be probably until the next week. And the main is a North American, Canadian, Quebecer, somebody who was born in the USA 3 times, once as a woman, twice as a man, served in the United States Army, same army, 2 different wars, 156 years apart. And right here in Montreal, Hawk Island, Montreal is an island, surrounded by a big river, huge river, St. Lawrence, And of course, big metropolis island, second most populated city in Canada. It was the first for a long time, and right now is of course on the second now, the most populated. It's top 10, 8 or 7th in North America, Canada, US, Mexico. So it's 8 or 7 most populated city in North America. So huge metropolis of 2.5 million people. It's like a small countries where I live, and I love to go to the mountain, my second home, Mount Royal there, Belvedere, Kondianak. Let's go, Dragon versus Trump. I'm challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border to fight me, as I've been challenging him for 6 years now, since 2018, when the Trump administration and Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel were imposed, of course. The imposition of tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steels occurred in 2018, spring 2018, and that's when I started challenging Trump to a boxing match. And of course, I am calling for all willingly loving to support building the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, parallel to the Forgotten Goddess Temple. That's what my will to build. If I want to build something, and I gotta give a shout out, because who builds the constructions and the houses and the skyscrapers? It is the construction workers, of which I'm a big fan. I always think how they do with those cranes and how they got to get up there on those scaffolds. It's salutations, LOV, salutations, LOV, salutations, LOV, Got to go on those scaffolds and up and put those bricks, that metal, that steel, the laborers of the 20th century to build the North American civilization, a complex North America, Quebec, Canada, North American, because we are North Americans, you know. We got to get that coast to coast, and we got to get my dream, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, which is fundamentally a dream for a public-private partnership. A public-private partnership with PVP and across the North American Collective, and part, of course, to implement the Trinity of theories, the CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, the DRT, Debt Fusion Theory, and the Democratic Fusion Theory across North America. That is part of my dream, of course, to implement the Trinity of theories, and of course, of which the DRT is very important, because the Debt Fusion Theory at this point in time, anyways, how we are situated with the public finances, is the only solution. And you know, the thing about me, Aspies, is that, and I'm an individual Aspies, of course, I do not represent the whole Aspie community, only those friends with benefits from now on, and friends with benefits from now on, friends with benefits, and pledge your allegiance to our family, and I with LOV, for the trillions of kisses I got first and foremost by the trillions, so there's no worries in lack of kisses, hugs, rock and roll, and marching steps. Push-ups with that, say I love some push-ups. We have to LOV that push-ups and drop down and give you Dragon Rainbow, Dragon Zero, so some of those good push-ups, you know. Yeah, I'm really excited about those shoes, red and white, and second hand, but most of my clothes are second hand. You know, this one, auctioning it for $1 million. This one, I just remember I found it right before, it's about more than 7 years ago, and when I moved from my old underground moldy place, and I was sick, depressed, and you know, I don't remember much. I got blackouts, I got kind of retrograde amnesia, like I have problems accessing memories prior to certain events in my life, and a major one being surprise attack by an in the Montreal Metro viciously, and I fell, hit my head, and dislocated my right arm. Went to the hospital, they replaced it in the emergency room, and I had my own Cillian Pirate episode, you know. Cillian Pirate episode, so I had my Cillian Pirate episode thereafter, you know, so that was my Cillian Pirate episode, and right after I had my Cillian Pirate episode, I moved and got out of being depressed and suicidal, and I crossed Canada coast to coast, and that was something which I really changed my whole life. I established a strong esprit de corps, and I established a strong esprit de corps. I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, Quebecers, and North Americans, you know, because they're our family now. Sometimes we're dysfunctional, and we might not all be friends, but we're a house, we're a civilizational complex here in North America, a new one, because we're an emergent civilizational complex, which is not totally divorced, but is distinct from Western civilization. So it has its own distinctions, but it's not totally divorced, but it's distinct from Western civilization. So those are components and ideas, of course, which we may retain in my philosophy in my theoretical philosophy, a philosophy which I know to be true and I believe to be true, although in philosophical ideas, I guess, they can be debated, argued, XYZ, but nonetheless, we constitute a civilizational complex here, North Americans, which is not totally divorced, but it is distinct from Western civilization. So it's distinct from Western civilization, not totally divorced. So my initiatives and protocols and call for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, just like parallel to the European Union, they created a Universal Exchange Unit. That's what I call here for North America, you know. For North America, you know. So that's what I call with that, and that's what I give it for the LOV. And if you could bring me the tools, the permission, I would love to paint some good color on the arenas. I got one closer to my place. And of course, I would love to just put some blue, white, and red, and blue, white, and red, you know. You need some paint, but nonetheless, it's good, you know. Just maybe on the interior. No ads, please. We gotta get that public-private partnership. Just neutral colors, red, white, and blue, you know. Put it for that North America. Canada here is that white and red, so don't mind the white and red, you know, the blue sky above. Gotta sing a little bit of song, you know. Thanks again, anonymous friend, acquaintance friend from the neighborhood who Saw the color red for some reason. Thought of me. Saw the color red for some reason. Thought of me probably because it's my favorite color. So saw red and white, which goes together. You know. So I gotta turn my head left and right. Before I cross the street, I always turn my head left and right because, of course, 3 times. I recommend it because you never know, the brakes can malfunction. So what if the brakes malfunction, eh? The brakes can malfunction. The citizen driver can press the accelerator instead of the brakes. So those are things which can occur. So anyways, thanks again. Thought of me, saw red and white Canadian flag and a little bit of mystic symbolism, you know. But that's a nice red Jeep and it's red in rising. Red and setting. The sun is where they heading. Red and rising, red and setting. The sun is where they heading. Red and rising, red and setting. The sun always rises, always sets. Focus on the dyno now. And see, I turn my head left and right. Left and right. Although there's a stop, you never know. Citizen might press the accelerator, but I gotta go say hello to that dinosaur. He's got some green, the color, official color of the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army, which I'm laying the foundation with trillions of kisses, and he's got some white and red. Red my favorite color, but kind of cool. I love it. Dinosaur. Holiday dino, but hey, don't eat, duh. Gifts. So that's what my anonymous friend said. He said, this is an early holiday gift for you. You know, celebrating my own mystic, you know. And when y'all got it, I also goddess it, you know. When I got it, I always goddess it. When I got it, you know, I always goddess it, you know. I always said goddess, you know, so said an early holiday gift for you. I said, hey, thanks. And I wish I would have 44 billion now. And after Trump got elected, I would have went to 10%. If I would have had billions or millions, I just say 44 billion, because that would have been 4.4 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. I would have loved to go distribute across North America. I would have just given to different individuals, you know. Here's 50,000. Here's 44,718. This is your second chance to homeless, vulnerable individuals, and well, whatever color, creed, whatever gender. And I would have said, this is your second chance, and this is my redemption, you know. And you can rent a room, rent a hotel, motel, rent a hotel, motel, or you can a year. You can get the apartment for a year, 2 years, even 3 years. You can start, you know, your life anew with this 50,000. Just, you know, start working out and whatever you have addictions, just slow them down, bring them to moderation. You know, whatever the case may be. You know, if you have addictions and whatever the case may be, to get on that homeless and whatever the case, you know. So that would have been my doing. I would have went across North America to do across North America. So that's what I would have wanted to do, you know. That's what I wanted to do, you know. So that's what I wanted to do. I would have done it actually, you know. So financially stressed myself, so cannot contribute in such a manner, but trillions of kisses, you know. That's what I will for the forgotten goddess, you know. From the forgotten goddess, you know. Forgotten goddess. And that's what I will to build also, the forgotten goddess temple. Forgotten goddess, DSS. Lay the foundation with trillions of kisses, you know. I love it black and white and rainbow. You know that I said, let's go. I love it black and white and rainbow. You know that I said, let's go. I said, you know that I love it black and white and rainbow. I said, let's go. For the butchers once again, and the bakers and the cooks, welders and those train conductors, choo-choo truckers on the road, crossing this North America. Hey, no to the tariffs, no. Gotta give me some hugging. Gotta give me some kissing. Gotta give me some without alternatives. Gotta give me some blue and white. Blue and white. I love the combinations also, blue and white. Quebec flag. Another green or red. I love the green or red combination. Of course, the DGA Dancing Goddess Army. The DGA Dancing Goddess Army, you know. Dancing Goddess Army. That's that DGA, you know, Dancing Goddess Army. The Dancing Goddess Army, you know, green official color, and the Dragon Army's red, red, red. So there's a beautiful also red. And that's pretty cool. So I love it. The flag of Quebec is blue and white, and of course my flag in my previous incarnations, you know, is those stars, and you know, stars in the sky, and that blue in it, blue and white, and we can put it together, North Americans, along with the Dancing Goddess 7-pointed star. That code 156 who down knows, code 156 from down knows, code 156 from down knows. That green just passed, and it's always something which we gotta meditate on. My head now switches to geopolitics. See, that's the thing with Asperger's, with the obsessive interest of which mine are geopolitics 24/7, and I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. So I predicted the current situation back in 2019, and I have proof of what I just made that statement. I have proof of it because I have work online, and that's it, who I am, you know, an artist, an athlete, a philosopher, a mystic, and a geopolitical theoretical analyst, or it depends when. Sometimes I'm more of a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, and philosopher, and mystic, and artist. And I want to ask you, so sometimes I stare at certain... Someone left a hat, let me see. Oh yeah, that's a hat. I have to check my vision, I think. I have to check my vision. So the red on it, so... I guess somebody will retrieve it. I just wonder what that was, if it served a purpose there, but it's just somebody who had left the cap there. Anyway, so I have to check my vision for with an optometrist as well. I have to check my vision with the optometrist. Anyway, so here we are crossing at the bridge, but doesn't seem like we're gonna get some. We're gonna get some, I guess. Let's see. Cross it anyways. Salutations for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, and for the doctors, for the grocery store clerks, you know. Today, Friday, before the Sabbath starts at midnight. Sabbath starts at midnight. Lasts until Sunday, you know. Sunday, sunset. Sunday at sunset ends. So it's about 45 hours, almost 45 hours. And hey, this is the Lion. Lion is the name of the company. Let's try to work a deal. Public-private partnership. It's an electric bus. They make buses that are electric. They make buses that are electric. And I gotta salute. Hey, 20th century workers, Hydro-Quebec. Sing for them 24/7. And you know, you see these beautiful railroads, and we're gonna need to build the infrastructure of the 21st century by my DRT. My DRT theory is the only solution to where we are now with the current situation of much of our infrastructure. Needs a lot of rebuilding, needs a lot of investment in the 21st century. And I know that my Trinity of theories, of which the DRT first and foremost is going to bring some solutions vis-a-vis the Concordium, the current situation and the current problems that are facing the public finances and a lot of the private finances as well. So here we go. We're gonna cross on the bridge on the other side, and once we're crossed on the other side, we're gonna discuss the DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, and then we're gonna probably switch it a little bit to that French, because we're in La Belle Province. As I see some of those snowflakes. Well, literally I counted a few already. Little white snowflakes. Oh yeah, snowflakes. Second time I see this in the past 3 days, and last time there weren't that many. And thank you. I just gotta make assurance, cross my head left and right, that I'm giving priority to pass, you know, because I have to be prudent, you know. There has to be prudence, and I have to be well aware, you know, when I pass, that the brakes can potentially malfunction and the citizen can potentially press the accelerator instead of the brakes. So those are all things which I gotta basically take into account and consider when I'm in the public and crossing the street. So butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, excited about those new shoes, and you know, those new shoes that I just got today, just maybe almost more than 44 minutes ago, more than 44, almost 45, more than 44 minutes ago, more than 44 minutes ago or so. So we gotta get it on the go now. So that's how we do with that. So it's XYZ, you know, 24/7. We gotta exercise in XYZ and always meditating about what's happening in the sky as well. And something that's happening now is planes, of course, going. And just gotta say to my fellow citizens that we gotta find a way to unite North America, and to, of course, to unite North America and to have the imposition of those tariff threats by Trump. He's not yet president, but we can, of course, encourage all to find a solution. I think I scribbled something down, which of course is something which might be a possibility, which I'm going to discuss in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead before Trump takes office. It is part of my ongoing dream, and of course I am challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. I've been since 2018, and I want to build the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Forgotten Goddess Temple, Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Please do not pollute. Please do not pollute, do not pollute. This can be swallowed by a dog. Swallowed because there's dogs passing here, so this is gonna need to be recycled. So just found it there on the sides, and this can be swallowed by a dog. You know, still it's plastic, I know, but still it can be swallowed or picked up by a child. So, and then whatever the case may be. So we gotta get it on the go. Gotta get it on the now, you know. So that's what it is. That's what we gotta get doing with that, man. You know, we gotta get on that transversal. You know, we gotta get it going for the do, and we gotta get it doing for the done, and the philosophy for the one. You know, black, white, and brown North Americans. You know, we gotta become North Americans, and all who come to join us, all who come to join us, all who come to join us. You know, sometimes we have, you know, in us discriminations, and sometimes it's subconscious. You know. Subconscious to my black brothers and sisters, blacks, you know, 13.4% of the population is, of course, my brothers and sisters, blacks, and money I don't have to support in the neighborhoods that need it, or, you know, whatever such manner, but I put on the table, you know, same kisses and hugs and XYZ in certain situations, but I would definitely be of a charitable nature, but not financially stress myself in such a manner I cannot help. Because sometimes we have the subconscious. Sometimes we have certain subconscious elements which we're not fully aware of, but we might do associations. You know, we might have lived an experience with a certain individual type, and then we infer, we do a little bit of generalizations to the rest of the whole community, you know, whatever the case may be. If you know, for Aspies, myself as somebody who has HFA, high functioning autism, and being an Aspie, having lived my own struggles and been discriminated and kept only a few months or weeks employment, and it's a lot of misunderstandings what Asperger's is, you know. It's a lot of misunderstandings what Asperger's is sometimes people are very confused with saying that we lack empathy and compassion. It's not that, is that we show it by action. If you're a friend of, that I'm speaking myself as an individual aspect, it's just that we like to offer to do things for others or be able to help directly rather than console verbally, verbal consolations rather than verbal consolations. So rather than verbal consolations, we do not console in manners which are more of a just merely verbal nature. We are more action-based empathy and compassion. So, for example, if you be a friend with myself as an individual aspect, part of the LGBTQ community, being that androgynous rainbow dragon 24/7, we say you just went to the gym or had a day at work which was very long, and you say, I'm sore. Not going to say probably feel sorry, or because it's not really my fault, how Aspie minds is a little bit different, but whatever the case may be, If they're happy, I'm happy. So that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. And we gotta get it on the do, you know. So just LOV, you know. LOV is important, and LOV is important, you know. So we gotta get it on the do. So we gotta get it on the do with that. So it's love, you know. Sometimes we just gotta be on the love, you know. So you gotta get it on the do, you know. Yeah. We gotta get it on the do. So we gotta get it for now, you know. So we would offer a massage, we would offer a little putting some cream and massage, whatever the case may be in such a case, you know. That's that's just Aspies, you know. That's just an Asperger thing. And it's starting to snow, really. It's really starting to snow. First snow, I guess, because last time was a little bit of a mixture in between, and that's what it is with that. And we gotta get on the XYZ, and we gotta get it on the go. So that's what we would do, you know, by action, compassion. So now it's time for me to discuss the DRT, Debt Refusion theory, the DRT, Debt Refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, for the creation of the UE. So that's what it is with that, and that's what it is with that, that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for the do, you know. So it is for something that we gotta increment, that we gotta increment, you know. So it's something which, of course, we gotta get it on the do, we gotta get it on the do, and we gotta get it on the love, you know. So hey, that's what it is, and you know, so that's what it is, you know. So that's, you know, it's how Asperger's work, you know. So it's XYZ, and sometimes people have a lot of difficulty understanding Aspies, and it's more and more understood, and it's not a mental illness. It's a lot of people say disabilities, but in certain cases, I'm not that able, not that capable in certain social conditions and other things, but we can excel in others. Myself is geopolitics and sports and fitness and dancing, and creating my own workout training program system, and efficient, effective, simple and efficient, simple and effective, simple and efficient workout training program system, and effective, simple and efficient, simple and effective workout training program system, and efficient, effective, simple workout training program system, which requires no equipment, and which myself have performed more than 372 times, you know. So right now here, you know, snowstorm, first snowstorm, what's going on? Gotta discuss the DRT before, of course, I stop with the video. So the DRT, Debt Refusion theory, I gotta give a salutation for the workers here, putting some arenas, a nice arena. So oh yeah, it's starting to look good. Can't wait. I need the construction workers to help build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, and the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and this has been good finance for the community. So I'm going to discuss the DRT, Debt Refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. So what is the DRT? Of course, stands for Debt Refusion theory. And of course, the motive that I do make that statement is due to the fact, since we now pay 46.5 billion in interest, and gotta look how much that investment it is here in the community. 10 million from Quebec, new arena, go, thank you construction workers. And I used to come, I volunteered at the other arena, you know, did a lot of volunteering. And here was the construction of sports and recreation, you know. It was 6.2 million. It was, so together, combined, that's 16, that's Love your construction workers on steel toes with those cranes. I always meditate about what's happening and across North America, or of the past, of today, and of the future. So the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, is the only solution, brothers and sisters. The motive I make that statement is the fact that today we pay 46.5 billion in interest. 46.5 billion in interest. That's how much we pay in interest. So it more than double paying the debt servicing of the public debt. So you can check with the Bank of Canada, with Tiff Mackler, my Auntie Christian Freeland, and citizen Auntie Christian Freeland, that you can check these numbers for yourself. We now pay 46.5 billion on the debt servicing, the interest on the public debt. So that is 46,000 million, since the fact that a billion has 9 zeros. So in the fiscal year 2020, 2021, we paid 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion times 2 would have been 40.6 billion. 40.6 billion. It's more than double to 46.5 due to COVID, which I had, and I thought I was going to die. I died right there in my underground room house in Temple, and it was like death, pestilence, and disease. Death, pestilence, and disease. Like death, pestilence, and disease. And that's what it was with COVID, you know. So here we are today. Survived COVID and survived many things, you know, and depression, suicidal, and here I am. Paradoxically, on the table, I propose the solution, which is the solution to salvage the current public situation of the public fiscal, of the public finances. The fact that we pay 46.5 billion is not sustainable, and it's about to be a collapse. We're not going to be able to pay the firefighters, the public sanitation workers who pick up the garbage, the compost, the recycling. There's no way now out of this. It's emergency scenario. We have to implement the DRT, D, debt, R, refusion, T theory. That's the DRT, yours truly, and my DRT theory also contains monetary integration theory. What is monetary integration theory? It is exactly the theory which was implemented in the European Union. They created a central bank. The Germans destroyed their old Deutsche Mark currency, their old central bank. The Italians, they got rid of the lira and their central bank. France and many countries destroyed their old currencies and their central banks, and they created a common central bank, the ECB, the European Central Bank. So my theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, includes that theory in it. So here it is, explained as simple as possible, since the fact that, you know, many aspects we have a tendency, of course, to be overly verbose and intellectual, academic, and sophisticated in our language, that of course we do not, sometimes to excess, where it can be explained more simple, in more simple terms. So that's what Asperger's is. That's what Asperger's is. Asperger's, you know. So HFA, high functioning autism, there's those symptoms which there's no medication for my neurological, mental, psychic condition, but to have a certain awareness and work on my symptoms, as have been working on them, and I've been working on them, and have been working on them. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, we're going to take all the public and the private debt, including my 10,000, your 10,000, our 10,000. So all the debt, public and private debt, all the debt, public and private, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. The initial money supply for a new central bank is going to be all the public and the private debt, including my 10,000. All that money, we're going to convert it to the US dollar. So it's the DRT has to be implemented Canada first. So Canada first, other countries after. So Canada first. All the debt, public and private debt, all that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, and for the creation of a new currency, because that's why we do the conversion from Canadian dollars to US dollars. From Canadian dollars to US dollars. All the Canadian public-private debt converted to US dollars. All that money is going to be in the trillions, right? So all the public-private debt coast to coast, including my $10,000 to the RBC, all the debt converted to US dollars, if they will, Canada first, but if they will, add it with the US, because it's for North America, and it can be extended beyond NATO member countries, so it could be even beyond that. So all the debt, public and private debt, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. Is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. Is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, right? In the trillions. That's why we do the conversion. From Canadian, all the Canadian public-private debt, we're going to convert it to US dollars. To add it with the US, Mexico peso if they will. If not, Canada first, US second, and whoever our wheels after. But Canada first, preferably Canada, US. Canada, US, Canada, US. So all the debt, public and private, is going to be the creation of a new central bank, where we're going to issue a new currency, be it the new dollar, or preferably the UE, based on the value of the US dollar. At this point in time, it starts with me today. It's an emergency. We have to do it. Create a new currency like they did in the European Union with the creation of the euro, right? The euro. They had the lira, they had the Deutschmark. They don't have that anymore. They have the euro. We're gonna do the UE, Universal Exchange Unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot universal exchange unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE, the universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit. The U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. Based, of course, the UE gonna set an interest rate level of 10%. 10% thereafter, 10%. It could be less, not more. So 10% for the UE, the universal exchange unit. So all that money is gonna be the initial money supply. We're gonna set an interest rate level. We're gonna create the UE. We're gonna set an interest rate level of 10% on their loans thereafter. The loans there could be maximum 10% thereafter, no more than 10%, as now it's the case. So less than 10%, it could be 3.33, 7.18, 4.18, 6.1, 9.3, whatever the case may be. So below 10% it can be. So the UE, the universal exchange unit, is going to be the new money, of course, in circulation, the UE. So it's going to be called the universal exchange unit, the UE, the universal exchange unit. So this is the only solution now. There's no other solution due to the fact that we pay 46.5 billion. That's the amount that we pay in interest. Only interest on the debt. So there's no other way out of this. But with that money, the new central bank, that's why it has to be done via public-private partnership. I'm calling on my Scorpio brother, Bill Gates of BlackRock and Blackstone are different, but BlackRock, another Scorpio, Larry Fink, and Joe Biden, still a Scorpio president, astrologically related, Joe Biden, and of course, until the 20th of January, let's go for that Dragon versus Trump, and let's go create, in a centrist manner, the public-private partnership for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. All that money is going to be the public-private debt, the initial money supply for this new central bank. We're going to issue a new currency, the UE. All that money, we're going to be able to rebuild the infrastructure of North America. The bridges, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. Mass finance my workout, citizens to do my workout. Mass finance fitness, physical activities, mass finance tourism. Mass finance building of more hydroelectric dams, building more hydroelectric dams. You know, we need it for North American defense, and open up this and create and build 44 tunnels across North America in case of a thermonuclear war, and get that Operation Northern Scorpio with the parallel, of course, Operation Northern Scorpio with a hawk, based on my initiatives for a public-private partnership and part of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. My dream, of course, fundamentally a dream for a public-private partnership across the North American collective, across North America. Let's go Dragon versus Trump, and together we gotta create the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. There's no other way out of this but the Universal Exchange Unit's creation, due to the fact that we pay so much in interest. That's a lot. 46.5 billion. That's a staggering number. Those are numbers which there's no other way out of this. There's no out of this but the DRT theory. You can argue all you want. There's another lion, 100% electric. So let's try public-private partnership to salvage that company's in a financial situation. I would definitely, if I would have money, I would look into how to make a partnership, perhaps for public-private partnership. You know, my dream is a public-private partnership, and here's my bank, of course, where I got debt, you got debt, we got debt, they got debts, and gonna, I guess, end the video. I'm auctioning this for $1 million, this bag. Just gonna drop some, I think I have some garbage to drop here, so just gonna drop some. Oh, he fell down, so I'm gonna drop some Gonna drop some garbage and I go to the bank. So here we are. Just gonna wash my hands. I don't know if there's a disinfectant. Oh no, no disinfectant there. That's what it is with that. So here we are inside there, you know. We're gonna look at how, of course, how I am in the minus, you know, see if we got that disinfectant, see if we got how much we're in the minus, you know, something which we gotta be mindful about, the minus and the situational awareness, of course, that I am living in a financial crisis, you know, so that's it, that's all rock and roll with that, and it's something which I gotta be mindful about, and we gotta get it for the due, you know, we gotta get it for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks. Let's see, moment of truth, you know. Gotta get it for I'm gonna have to check how much I have to pay the bills. Gotta pay bills, hydro. I didn't take the bills, so anyways. Financially stressed, support the DRT. The debt refusion, of course, is the only solution now where we are, of course. There's no other solutions, you know. There's no other solutions where we are now at this point in time, you know. There's no other solutions, you know. So we gotta get it on the doing. We gotta get on the now, and that's it. That's all. And yeah, I mean, gonna be struggling December, but you know, I've been struggling for years and years and years, you know, due to Asperger's. But I lost a lot of opportunities, employment and opportunities, and continuance of employment, of which I had during COVID a lot, which I enjoyed, but you know. It has been a road. It has been a road of understanding in the past years, because for many years, of course, well, many people have told me, you know, I have HFA or an ASPE you have 93% of the symptoms, of which I do, and I'm neurodiverse. That's it, the end of the story with that, and we're gonna go all the way to the mountain, and we gotta get it for the due, you know, and that's where we gotta go, you know. So anyways, I'm gonna go on intercrossing here, and always gotta cross with my eyes, so that we make sure, of course, that we cross safely, because you never know, what if the citizen presses the accelerator, you know. Thanks for making an effort, taking out of the way, because sometimes it's slippery, you know. So with Asperger's, certain social dynamics are, of course, more difficult, you know. Asperger's, we have a lot of tendencies which are socially awkward. Let me see. Oh yeah. There's something else special. So